Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Beis Halevi in his Maimar Bitachon. This is Shir number 110. 110 times stronger in the realm of trusting and relying upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu with real Bitachon as we continue to learn and delve into this topic. We just want to conclude what we were learning yesterday. And that is that we see that in the world of Yosef HaTzadik, who was on a very high, exalted level of bitachon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu at times had really a complaint against him. That if you really trust in me with all your heart and all of your soul, and you know that I'm the source of everything, as Yosef was well aware of from all of the details of his tumultuous life, he saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu at every single turn, then how come when he sent the Sar HaMashkim, the cupbearer, back to Paro, why did he tell him twice, Zachartani, don't forget about me, and remind me to Paro, so that he should know that there's a Yidel that's sitting over here in prison, and he needs to get out because he didn't do anything wrong. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, you put your faith in arrogant men like this, you relied upon Basav Adam, flesh and blood, to be able to bring you out of the dungeon. It's all me, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore he was punished for the 2 times that he asked to be remembered, 2 extra years in prison. So instead of 10 years in the dungeon, he ended up with 12 years altogether. And that's Yosef HaTzadik. He's called the righteous one. We're not tzaddikim. We're not righteous. We might be aspiring tzaddikim. We might be trying to become more righteous in our lives and do things in line with what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants of us. However, we all know that we are very far from the madrigas, from the levels of a Yosef HaTzadik. So are we allowed to ask for help? Are we allowed to be able to put in extra Hishtadlus where we feel that it's necessary to try to affect the triggers in Shemayim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will then allow things to work the way that we're asking for it? So this is really the nisayon, this is really the battle and the struggle that each and every one of us has, of knowing our levels of bitachon and knowing what is beyond and above where we're really holding, and being honest enough where we are, and still pushing ourselves a little bit more all of the time to rely more upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu and less upon our efforts. And there's a story that is told of Rav Chaim Volozhiner. Chaim Volozhiner was the main disciple of the Vilna Gaon, and he was once listening to a shir from his Rabbi, the great Vilna Gaon. We could only imagine that when the Vilna Gaon would say over a shir of Torah, there were fires that were resonating in the Shemaim, in the heavens. It was the Shechina coming down like it was in Har Sinai. The Vilna Gaon was the Gadol Hador. He was the greatest sage of the generation. We haven't had anyone in the world since his time, and we probably won't see anybody until Mashiach will come that's on the madrega, on the level of the Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon had all of the Torah on his fingertips, the Nigla, the Nister, that which was concealed, the Kabbalistic Torah, that which is revealed. There wasn't anything that he didn't know. I believe perhaps the Vilna Gaon said at the end of his life, the only nechama, the only consolation that he had, that he was going to leave this world and go into the next, although he didn't want to leave his Gemaras behind him, he wanted to continue learning and learning, was that he had 2 questions in all of the Torah that he had no answer for, and he was looking forward to stand before the Kisei HaKavod, the throne of glory, and ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the answers to those questions. So imagine Rav Chaim Volozhiner, the main disciple, is sitting and listening to a shir from the Vilna Gaon. Now he had leeches on his skin at the time, Rav Chaim Volozhiner. Why? Because in those days they believed that for medicinal purposes it was beneficial to keep leeches on your skin when necessary to suck out the blood. It was good to keep the blood circulating in the right way. While he was in the midst of that shir and he had leeches on his skin, Rav Chaim Volozhiner realized that in reality my health depends upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem takes care of everything. I don't really need the leeches to make me feel better or to keep my wellness about me. Hashem is the one that will take care of me. And so in the midst of the shir, he removed the leeches from his skin. Later that day, somebody who was at the shir bumps into Rav Chaim Volozhiner and he sees that the leeches are once again back on his skin. So he comes over to the Rebbe, he says, "No, Rav Chaim Volozhiner, tell me, I saw that when you were listening to the shir of the Vilna Gaon, you removed the leeches. Now I see you put them back on you. Before you didn't need them, now you do need them. What's the pshat? What's going on over here? So he said the following. He said, while I was listening to the Vilna Gaon, and again, just imagine what Torah from the Vilna Gaon was like. The Shechina was palpable during that time. It was mamish right there in the room. He said, while I was listening to the Shir of the Gaon, he said, I felt enough bitachon. I realized there's a Rebbeinu Shalom HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running and guiding my life. He's the Mashgiach. He takes care of everything. My health is fully in His hands. And I felt that I don't need the leeches to make me feel better for any medicinal health purposes at all. Hashem is the one in charge. He said, but I must be honest with you. I'm not sitting by my Rebbe, the Vilna Gaon, right now, getting back into the worldly domain. And my bitachon is not on the heightened level that it was when I was standing by the Vilna Gaon. And therefore, what can I tell you? I feel once again I have to do my Hishtadlus and put the leeches back on my skin to suck out the blood, to keep things circulating in the right way, that I should be healthy. What does that mean? That means two things. Number one, that even the great Chaim Volozhiner recognized in his life that there were higher moments and there were lower moments of bitachon. And that when a person is feeling very strong about bitachon, they can push the limits that they have and rely upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But number two, we see the nature of bitachon is that it fluctuates. It doesn't remain constant and consistent. Of course, yes, we're working on it. We're trying to grow in it. We hope, be'ezus Hashem, that we will elevate ourselves day after day. But there's ups and there are downs. There are moments in a person's life when things are going well, when they're exposed to real ruchnius, extreme levels of spirituality, and they feel the Shechina, they feel the Kedusha, they know it's all the Rebbeinu Shalom. And there are times when we are down a little bit. Things are not going as well as we'd like it to, and our bitachon wanes. Says, you see from Chaim Volozhiner. So when you need to do a little extra Hishtadlus, you do what you have to do. And when you are in the mode, you're in the zone of bitachon, so then you'll push some of the Hishtadlus off to the side, and you will be able to rely solely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the things that you need. So this is our constant battle, our constant struggle, being aware of ourselves, knowing where we're holding and what it is that we are capable of pushing the limitations for ourselves in the world of bitachon. And in that zechus, we'll continue to grow and elevate ourselves on higher levels, and we'll realize how much koicha is, how much potential of bitachon is on the inside, and we'll push ourselves when we can. We'll rely on a little extra hishtadlus when is necessary, and in that way we will gauge ourselves and will reach an equilibrium in the world of bitachon that will be a tremendous nachas in the eyes of Hashem. Have a wonderful day.